Hey guys, how you doing? I felt like doing a talk today on why most my men have got approach anxiety. I don't think I've done a video on this for a very long time, so if you're interested in learning, I've got a feeling a lot of people will be interested in this talk because I don't think I've done a talk like this in a long time. Maybe I've never done this online, or if I have, it has been a long time. So let us know how you're doing it in the chat. Let us know where you're coming from. As always, we'll get some questions going. Then I'm going to explain to you why approach anxiety is a learned behavior. I think a lot of guys don't know that. I was thinking about that, doing a lot of thinking, going back to how I was with girls at school, and when I left school, the fears I had to speak to women, and how I improved through practice and overcame these fears and demons that a lot of men have with regards to talking to women, getting a girlfriend, building a relationship, just the whole area of communication. Because most guys are terrified, and you can overcome it. You can definitely overcome it if you're willing to face your fears. Basically, let me just make sure the chat box is working here. So right, come fearless. One of you could just let me know in the chat box that it's working. Give it a couple of minutes, and then I'll get into this presentation. I'll get into this talk. Might be worth some of you getting a pen and a pad of paper so you can take some notes if you want to learn, because the information I'm going to be sharing with you is totally free, but it's priceless. Oh, that's great. What's up, Fred Blogs? The chat's working. So I was thinking about that today. I was thinking about why is it that most men are so frightened of talking to women? And I'm not just talking about, for example, of approaching a woman on the street or in public, obviously that, but just in general, like at a party or in a bar, or even at church. I've been to church before with friends, Christian church, and when the church has finished, there's been like an after service, for singles to meet, even in an organization church. And I've looked around the room, and none of the guys are really speaking to the women. They're so frightened, even though they've got permission. They're at an event, they're at a Christian event, and it's for singles, and hardly no guys doing it. I'm the only guy there, and maybe a friend of mine, maybe one other guy, who's actually just speaking to women. So before we get into how learning to attract a woman and get a relationship, we first want to cover the basics of being able to say hello and communicate and start a normal conversation, and being able to do that. A lot of guys are not able to do that in their current mindset. So there's something to think about, right? Approach anxiety and all these types of anxieties and fears and phobias of talking to a girl is a learnt behavior. Let me explain. When I was born, right, when I was young, young as I can remember, I do not remember having so much fear to go and speak to a girl. I don't remember it. In fact, I don't even think I had much of it. I just did it when I was younger, right? I would speak to friends of the family, I'd speak to the neighbors, I'd speak to kids around my area, and I would speak to girls. But something goes wrong along the way. Something happened to me, and I know it happens to all of you, all guys. We'll get to a certain stage in school, and someone, whether it's another man, another young boy, or a teacher or a girl, somebody makes fun of us. Somebody takes the piss out of us, is the word that we used. And when someone takes the piss out of you and someone makes fun of you as a person and your personality and how you act, it puts doubt. It puts doubt into your mind. It makes you feel like you're stupid, like there's something wrong with you. And this might not necessarily happen straight away, So I'm not saying when you're younger, one person might say you look dumb or you sound stupid or you're weird, or it takes a little bit of time to kick in. It takes time for these anxieties and insecurities to start manifesting. But if you have enough of them, which I did, and I know probably all of you do, that's why you're on the stream. If you have enough bad experiences when you're very young and you're impressionable, and I'm talking when you're 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, that's a very vulnerable age. At that age, it's not the same as when you're 25, 30, 40, 45, 50, 60, 65. When you're young, you're vulnerable. You're very, very vulnerable with regards to other people's opinion about you, especially if someone in authority criticizes you. So let's say a school teacher says, "Be quiet," Jonathan, or Rashid, or Fred Bloggs, or Artemo, "Shut up, stop speaking in the class, you're disturbing everyone, you idiot," right? I'm not calling any of you that, but that's an example of what teachers did to me and did to other kids. If someone in authority says that to you, it's so easy for that to go into your subconscious and make you feel like there's something wrong with you. And that's what starts creating social anxiety, depression, approach anxiety. So a lot of it is a learnt behavior because, as I said, I wasn't born afraid to speak to a girl. I didn't even think about it. I spoke to my mum, my aunties, my cousins. You know, my mum's friends had young daughters the same age as me. I would speak to them. I was fearless when I was younger. Obviously, I had fears, but when it came to speaking to girls, and I believe a lot of you were, but I started getting bullied in my early teens, and you know, a couple of girls said a few nasty comments to me, a couple of the guys, and after a while, it went into my head that I'm not good enough, that women, girls don't like me. They think I'm ugly. They think I'm unattractive. And if you think and feel that you're ugly and you're unattractive and you believe that, you're going to have a tremendous amount of anxiety when it comes to you going and speaking to a girl, because in the back of your mind, you're going to be thinking, she thinks I'm ugly. There's something wrong with me. I'm not normal. I've got problems. It's all my fault. You're going to be carrying that. And if you don't fix that, that's going to get worse and worse as the years go by. Um, I'll get to the questions in a sec, guys. Right, I'm just going to finish this. So the problem is, if you don't address these psychological and emotional issues that are actually not your fault, no one asks to be bullied. No one asks for someone to call them ugly or stupid. All these kind of names, they're all extremely hurtful. You're ugly, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're weird, you're strange. Um, why did you say all of these comments? That get said when we're very young, and obviously you have to remember a lot of the things that kids said to you. They didn't know they were young. They were young kids, so they don't really understand the damage that they're doing, right? And we've all said horrible things to one another at some point. So, from my experience, this is most of the root cause of approach anxiety. And yes, of course, other teachers and experts and have said a lot of it's the media as well, and it is the media as well, that the media do play a part in giving you this terrible anxiety of going and speaking to a girl. But initially, I really think it happens in the school years. That's where the bullying happens. That's where the trauma happens, right? And if you agree with me, let me know in the chat below if you've experienced this. And obviously, over the years, I work with hundreds of guys from all different walks of life and different ages and backgrounds, and it was always the same problem. Once I could understand and speak to them and coach them, same problem I had. We had the same problem. They were traumatized from their childhood. That they got something went wrong. And if you look at it on paper, nothing really went wrong, right? In the sense that it wasn't a big deal, but you took it personal. So on one scale, you could say, what happened to you when you were young? Normal. Everyone gets bullied at school by someone. Even the bullies get bullied. Everyone has been called names. You know, everyone's been made to feel ashamed, right? And that happens to everyone, right? Okay, well, there's a lot of truth in that, right? But some people don't deal with that very well. And I was one of the people, like most people who come on my channel for advice and help. I was one of the many men around the whole world who didn't deal with this very well as a young kid. I was very sensitive emotionally, especially, with groups and stuff. So shame, bullying, and let me just bring you back. You can't be born, you can't completely be born with approach anxiety because, as I said to you, it's a learnt behavior, and yes, I do agree. There is an argument that it's, evolutionary. We carry evolutionary. They say that every person has an evolutionary fear from their ancestors. Thousands of years ago, the men and the women. The fears that they had, that they died with their fears, and those fears inherently got passed down the generations, and that's why so many men have inherited this anxiety with speaking to women. I agree on that to some degree. I do agree on that, but I don't fully believe that that is the whole reason why guys have approach anxiety. I believe in what I said. I'm sticking to. It's the trauma that men go through at school when they're younger, and I'm not saying it's caused by women or girls or men. Both. It can be both. It can be girls that can cause that. It can be men. It can be adult school teachers. So it's weird because now that I'm a lot older, obviously, and a lot more experience, and you know, as I said, I've coached hundreds of guys over the years, right? I've had quite a lot of time out in the last couple of years, but nonetheless, I've got all this experience and I've had time to think about things and see patterns and see, and understand things as you get older. You learn. You don't always need a scientist to tell you how life works or why are people the way they are or why do they act. So the good news is, the positive news is, if social anxiety and approach anxiety with talking to women is a learnt behavior, you can unlearn it. And that's what I did, and that's what I taught for many years. It's not easy, again, obviously, but you can do it. You can learn again to get that confidence back of talking to women and not have so much fear and anxiety and self doubt. And I think it's it's like I've said in my videos before. I've got it's a natural thing, that everyone should be able to do. It shouldn't really be a big deal, because women are brilliant, guys are brilliant. We're here to meet each other. At some point, you're going to want to build a relationship with a girl or a woman, right? If you're straight, right? If you're not, then I respect that. A lot of women want to date you, and a lot of men want to date women. But if you're not able to speak because of so much fear, then it's going to hold you back, and it's not really a laughing matter in regards to how bad it can get. I'll get some of your questions in a minute. It's good to see you guys in the questions. You're welcome, Sandeep, for the videos. Hi, Louis. Good to see you, mate. So when you start realizing the origin of where your fears come from and your demons, it gives you the right pathway or strategy to overcome it and get the confidence back. So yeah, the media does play some part, but when I was first born as a young boy, I didn't have time to watch. I wasn't watching. I wouldn't really watch that many films. I was watching cartoons. So the damaging, the damaging effects happened at school. It happened in the school playground. It happened in the school classroom. It was a learnt behavior, and then obviously when you leave school with all those issues with anxiety and approach anxiety, and every time you see a girl, As I said, in any situation, she might even like you. A girl might look at you, and you can see that she's interested. She's looking at you, and you're probably going to turn away because you're so nervous, to make eye contact and to go and speak. So I wanted to talk about that today because I think it's really valuable to really start understanding where do these fears come from, and then you can overcome them. Which is what I done, and which is what a lot of you have done, and some of you might be starting out. And like I said, there's a lot of really positive women that don't want you to be scared of them. They don't want a guy to be paralyzed with fear and anxiety to the point where he can't even say hello or compliment a woman, and in a confident, respectful way. And you know, there might be a situation, and a lot of girls have told me this, where a girl likes you and fancies you, but she might not be confident enough to approach you and tell you. She's hoping that you will approach her. She's hoping that you'll read the signs if you're at a party. It doesn't matter at a Starbucks coffee shop, or you're on your way to work, or you're at work, or you're in your church service, or wherever you go, and you do your faith. Whatever social environment you're in, there's going to be a lot of situations where there might be a woman there that likes you and you don't know it because you're so negative. That the negative thinking is that you've already believed that women don't like you, and it's not true. But it's something that you have to overcome. Yeah, well, yeah. Rejection is a big part, and like I said, everyone gets rejected at some point, and if you can't handle it, then it's gonna hold you back. So it's really putting things into perspective. Number one is, I'm not the only one who got bullied at school. Everyone goes through it, right? That makes you normal. Number two, I'm not the first guy in history who got rejected in college or in high school or primary school or secondary school. Every guy at some point got rejected by a girl, right? And in the same way, same way that women and girls reject men, men also reject women. But both sexes get rejected in life. It's part of life, right? Nobody likes it, but it's inevitable. So when you realize that just because a couple of people reject you or make fun of you, it doesn't mean the whole world's rejecting you. It doesn't mean because one or two or three girls rejected going out of you when you was a teenager. That doesn't mean that you're rejected forever, because men grow as we get older. I've seen it with loads of guys, people I've grown up with, clients. We generally get more attractive, as we start coming into our manhood, and we go through puberty, and our voice breaks. We have more of a manly voice. Our facial features, change. We grow up, and we generally become more attractive, and a little bit more confident through life, through growing up. So what a lot of guys are doing is, as grown men, they're still viewing themselves as like a teenage boy. That you might be 30 years of age, but in your mind, you're still 14 when it comes to your outlook on women and how they view you. And that's actually not true. But in your head, you're still living in those memories. You're still living in the memories that, oh, I'm that guy that got rejected. That's how all women view me. And they don't all view you like that. And a lot of guys don't know this because they don't go out and speak to women. They don't get over that fear. They're not social with women. Just from without even, talking about how to flirt with a woman, and attraction, even to get the bit before that, even just to learn to speak to a girl and just be friendly and just be yourself. They don't get to that point because they avoid talking to girls because of the fear of being rejected, and the fear of getting anxiety, and getting awkward and all those kind of things. So it is a healing process. It is a rebuilding process. If obviously no one can force you, if you choose to fix your anxieties, and also realize that you're not weird for having these anxieties, because as I said, they're learned behaviors. The same way in school you get taught maths, you get taught English, you get taught history, you get taught some schools you get taught religion, you know, geography. You get taught these things. So in the same way, you get taught to be scared of women. You unconsciously get taught, I'm in danger here. This girl can hurt me. She can crush me. She can. So it's understanding this, and then you can move beyond it. By the way, I'm really appreciating some great comments here. I am reading them. I'm just finishing the talk, and then we can get to some of the questions. But I hope everyone's doing good. I thought you guys would appreciate this. You'll get a lot out of it. So yeah, you can unlearn bad behaviors, and you can learn a new behavior. You can learn how to overcome that fear and speak to a woman in a very confident, sincere, genuine way. In a way where most women will respond in a positive way to you because you're sincere, you're honest, you're confident, you're being yourself, which is really important. And that's one of the problems that guys go through. They think that they're not good enough, and they think that they can't be themselves. You have to realize every single one of us, every single guy, has got a unique personality, which nobody can copy. No one can be you better than you can. But if you don't be you and you try and be somebody else to impress girls, it's not going to work out. You're just going to be insecure. How are you? I've been watching you since 2015. Um, I'm doing good, man. I'm really good. Thanks for tuning in. I disagree with you, man. I really disagree with you that, you said honest and sincere is not the same as being attractive. In my experience, I disagree because I've attracted, hundreds of women over the years, been on hundreds of dates, I've dated so many women, and for the most part, I was honest and sincere. And that was what made me. It's not my opinion. That's what women found attractive in me. Not my looks. I'm not the best looking guy. I'm not the worst, but the confidence, to be honest. So I disagree with you on that. And this is the problem, yeah. A lot of guys think they're ugly, right? And they think they know what women like. But so many guys don't know nothing about what women like. So you've got a lot of guys, unfortunately, who are unqualified when it comes to what is it a woman is attracted to. They think they know, but they don't know. If you really knew what a woman was attracted to, you wouldn't be having problems with women. I'm just being honest. So I've always had to try and re-educate guys and go, you look at yourself as ugly and you think that's how women view me. But women are so different to men in that way, in how they judge us. They don't they don't always judge us in how we judge ourselves. Because for many years I thought I was ugly, and clearly now I don't feel that way about myself. But until I was able to change my mindset through practice and getting, I had obviously a mentor to show me the right way to think. Because if you think you're ugly and you tell yourself that and you say, well, every girl thinks I'm ugly, then you're making yourself get rejected. Not women, it's you. It's you that's doing the damage. And this is a bit of pill to swallow for a lot of guys, but in my experience, it's the truth if you want to fix this. Um, yeah, absolutely. I've got no problems in admitting that. Yeah, I did lose my virginity. I don't really like the word hooker, but I did. Yeah, I did actually, and I wanted to put that out so guys could see that I came from a very bad place and was able to, you know, really have a lot of success where it wasn't expected. So yeah, 21, I lost my virginity. I didn't have my first proper girlfriend. My first girl I actually obviously slept with, I was 22, and she pretty much approached me, right? Because I didn't have confidence when I was 22. Not with girls, I was still had a lot of issues. So yes, I lost my virginity to a paid escort when I was 21, and after that, I was still struggling. And at 22, this is what I'm trying to explain to you guys. When I was 22, I thought I was ugly, right? Which is why I was obviously why I paid for an escort in the first place. I didn't think I could get a raw woman. But when I was 22 and I was on a program, a get back to work program with a group of men and women that were looking to get back into employment and get on a course. It was just I got paired up with a really beautiful girl, she's absolutely beautiful in the group, and um, she asked me out. She asked me to go if I want to come to cinema with her. You know how nervous I was at the time. I actually said no. Can you believe that? I wanted to say yeah, but I was so nervous. And then she gave me another opportunity, and I said, oh, okay, let's do it. And we were dating for several months, and that was the first proper relationship I had. And at the time when I took her to my friends, he met her. He couldn't believe it, right? Because he knew me as a guy who wasn't confident, and he was in shock. He goes, "Oh my God, she's absolutely beautiful. How the hell how did you meet her? How did you get her?" I said, "I didn't do anything. I was just myself. She approached me in on a work program, and then it went from there. Then we went on a few dates. So that slowly changed my mind. I couldn't believe at the start. I was like, I was thinking, why is she dating me when she can date other guys in the room who are better looking than me and more confident, but she liked me. So that's why I have to call a lot of you out when you tell me that, oh, I'm ugly, man. That's why. It's not that. It's a confidence issue. And that's another thing that women are attracted to that a lot of men don't understand, right? Because if it was all about looks, then it would clearly be only really good looking men would have girlfriends, and every single guy like me, I can't obviously see all of you, but I'm just speaking for example. Let's just say, um, yeah, any guy who's below whatever you'd call average, right? Society standards, he wouldn't be able to get a woman. It's not true. I've coached hundreds of guys and got them dating a beautiful girlfriend. So it's not true. Unless you believe it and you don't fix yourself, and you don't go out and get some proof. But obviously, if you don't really speak to women, then your understanding is going to be very limited because you haven't really gone out and got the experience. She she approached me, right? Look, I'll explain to you, right? I've got a good memory. I was in a work program, right? And we had different rooms in this program, and it was guys and girls. And I was sitting by the computer at the time. This was the time when YouTube didn't exist. I was sitting on the computer and I was learning about job skills. I was looking for a job. She came, sat next to me, right? And she started talking to me, whatever small talk about the course and stuff. And I was like, yeah. And then she's like, oh, by the way, I've got these tickets to the cinema, a spare ticket. Would you like to come with me? So she asked me out. And I was so shocked and I was so nervous. I couldn't believe it. I went, oh, well, because I was a very nervous guy back then. That's nice of you, but I can't make it. I've got to do something. And she's like, all right, no problem. And as you know, I wasn't stupid back then. I didn't have much confidence. I knew when a girl likes you. And the next day, I think it was the next day, I went home and I thought, I got to think straight. What am I doing? She's asked me out. How can I say no? I want to go out with her. She's lovely. So we got speaking again, and we got talking again. And I said, actually, I'll come out of you. I've changed my plans or something. And I went out with her first date, second date, third date, and then we started dating. And then I met her dad, believe it or not. And I was dating her for several months, and she was in love with me within a month and a half, right? And at that time, like I told you guys, it was the first girl I'd ever been with, apart from obviously an escort, but I don't include that. So that really gave me confidence, obviously, and that made me realize, wow, if she liked me and she didn't, and she liked me for who I am, it must be in my head. I must have these insecurities and paranoias, and I realized it was me, and it's the same with all guys. It's us that's got the issues. It's not women in that sense. Awesome. For those of you that have been cutting down on the porn, yeah, I was going to say, guys, man, like I said, I'm not preaching or judging. It's really important to cut down on the porn, man, because if you just watch porn and you get used to it, it fucks up your brain. It messes you up. Then you don't have any confidence to speak to a woman. So look, yeah, okay, if you watch it, everyone does it at some point. You can you can stop it, but it's if you build a habit on that thing, it's dangerous, man. I'm gonna make another video about that. So if you just joined today's video, I appreciate it. Today I'm doing a talk that I haven't done for years, and that's really explaining to men the origin of where your fears come with speaking to women. And if you've come on this late, I've basically broken down that the majority of our fears, approach anxiety, if you want to call it that, it's the same. Approach anxiety, social phobia, fear, shyness, awkwardness. It's all the same. It's all fear. It's just different names. People make up different names, right? Fear, anxiety, shyness, self doubt, fear of rejection, fear of being ugly, fear of not being good enough. When you have all these issues with women, it's because of things that happened to you at school when you were younger, or sometimes even at home. Even parents can accidentally put insecurities into you, right? I'm lucky, thank God, that my mum and dad they were good. You know, my dad was strict, but he never he made me feel like I can't get women. My dad was very encouraging and giving me confidence and telling me, teaching me how to be a man from a young age and stuff. But it still took me a few years. Yeah, well, I do stream quite often actually. Bright Romeo. I've been doing a lot of streaming lately. Um, but that's great, man. Any of you that are improving yourself, well done. Especially if you're cutting back on the porn. I am doing a lot of videos on that. So I wanted to share this today because I think it will give a lot of hope to a lot of men and confidence, knowing that what you're going through, so many men around the world are going through it, and Johnny Berba's been through it as well. But when you can understand why you're scared of something, then you're in a position where you can overcome it. But if you don't understand it, and all you know is that you've just got these problems and you're scared of talking to girls, then you're probably not going to overcome it, which is why it's good to get a second opinion from someone who is an expert and understands a bit more. I'm going to take questions in about a minute. I'm almost finished my talk. And all these things are normal, like I said, that I went through, nerves when it comes to being in bedroom, fear of not getting an erection. I had all these issues. I had all of them. None of them are a surprise to me. And I overcome all of them in a period of, I mean, I would say in a period of 2 to 4 years, I overcame all these issues and succeeded far beyond what I ever could have imagined. So it's nice for me to give back, right? Um, but yeah, of course, for the critics out there, people always are going to have their opinion, which is fine. People criticize me. I'm not claiming that I know everything about women because obviously I don't. I don't know everything about women, and I don't know everything about relationships. But I can speak on what I do know, and I do know a hell of a lot about anxiety and fear, and how a guy can overcome that and improve his relationship with himself and with women, and his self confidence. Good to see you, man. I've enjoyed our boxing chats. My comment will trigger you. I like that. That's a great little title. That kind of sums up the whole generation today. People get triggered by everything. Everything upsets people. Cheers, man. Yeah, I'm not a massive drinker, but when I do have a drink, whiskey, uh, I love whiskey and coke. And I had a feeling today you guys would really appreciate this advice. And obviously, you generally appreciate most of my stuff, but I knew today would really hit home because it's a really personal thing, and it's something that I just didn't think about talking about it for a while because of the COVID. There's been so much going on around the world, and I'm just trying to, stay positive and make everyone else feel good and get through this, that I didn't really think about doing the talk. But I am going to do a series of videos. So yeah, you guys are grateful, that makes me feel good. As long as people appreciate the videos and the information I'm sharing, then that makes me feel great. What's up, man? What's up, Undisputed Man? Thanks, Leonardo. I appreciate that. So, yeah, and it's interesting, because I remember having a conversation with a girl that I was dating, and she was asking me questions about me, and I was getting to know her, and I said to her, she gave me a compliment, and it made me feel good. She said, "You're very confident. The way that you approach me, and it's nice. You're very confident." And I said, "I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't always like this. I wasn't always confident. I had really bad issues with talking to women and people. Very nervous, very shy, very awkward." And she said to me, "I don't believe that." And I said, "Well, it's nice that you say that, but it's true. You've met me now after I've done a lot of self-help therapy, confidence building work. So you're seeing me after improving. You didn't see me when I was struggling at my worst." So any guy can change and improve it. You can get out of that relationship that you're not good enough and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, listen, man. Always like your content, man, but please try and get better. I'll explain to you what it is, right? My videos are great quality because I use a professional Canon camera, but I'm using my laptop's camera, and I have a basic laptop, so that's why the screen is not as clear, right? So apologies, but it's better than nothing until I get more of an expensive one. But I just recently bought this laptop, and it looked quite decent. And I thought the camera would be good, but they give me quite an old camera on this, so the picture's not as it's not as clear. But the videos are like 1080 and 4K. But yeah, at some point I'll upgrade. So yeah, I'm sorry about the picture. So and it takes time as well. It takes a lot of practice, which is worth it, and you've got to put some time in to overcome these issues, because you've got to remember, a lot of these behaviors that men have, these issues, they've been there for a long time. For some guys, it's 10 years, 15 years, 8 years, 5 years. So it's not going to go away straight away. You got to put in some effort, but you can definitely overcome it. There's no doubt about that. You can overcome it you can change in 6 or 12 months. You can make massive changes if you put in a lot of practice. Yeah, listen, man, I've been around all types of guys. Probably like a lot of you. Um, I've been around. I've been around big guys, big muscly guys, cage fighters, boxers. I've been around very alpha male guys. I've been around more introverted guys, more shy guys, and it's very rare that I'm around guys who don't have tremendous fear of speaking to a woman. Some guys will admit it, and they're honest, like you guys are, like I am, and they're not scared to admit that. But a lot of guys that they can't admit it. 32, still young, man. You can make a lot of changes. Okay, going to be 32 this year, Johnny. Being honest, I have really been thinking about fatherhood more so than the relationship. What's your thoughts on thinking? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I can't really give you advice on that because I'm not a father myself, and I've also been thinking about that as well. So I can't really I can't really add much more than that. But I don't think that's a bad thing that you're thinking about that. Maybe you reached a point where you feel mature and you feel ready to have a son, or is that what you're saying? Yeah, that's what I was saying, Louis. Like, obviously, you can remember your anxiety starting from age 12. That's around the age I had it, 11, 12. And it got worse, it got really bad in the early 20s until it improved. But you can definitely, anyone can overcome it, anyone can improve it. Believe me, I've seen over the years, I've seen guys that were absolutely petrified of women and talking. They were so nervous. But after 6 months of practice, it's a different person. And then they end up getting a girlfriend and they get so much more confident and they're a totally different person, Um, they're so much more outgoing and happy. And I really do believe, I remember having this conversation. I think I was having this with my mum or a friend, or maybe I've had it with many. You know, this can cause mental health problems, man. I'm telling you, if guys don't get this fixed and sorted out, it can create. It did it to me. That's probably why I've suffered with them in periods. It can create mental health problems if a guy is traumatized and he cannot speak to a woman and he can't build any relationship. That can destroy your life. And I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm being honest, inspiring. So obviously you can change it. What's up, CJP? This lockdown is dragging on, man. It seems like there is no end of sight. Easy to start slipping into negative thought patterns and stuff. I don't even feel like I'm living anymore, just existing. Listen, man, I think we're all feeling like that. I know I felt like that this week. Um, but it's just trying to get some support. I have good days as well, but yeah, everyone's feeling like that, which is why it's good to come on live streams and to talk to other people, just to remind yourself that you're normal, that there is hope, there are good people out there. You're not the only one who is feeling and thinking that way. And I say, well done for having the courage to admit that. That takes a lot of courage. So you're already that's a good testament of character. To be honest, that's why I do a lot of these live streams, because I know it cheers you guys up. It helps me. Yeah, yeah. Cheers, Wicked Man. I'm looking forward in the future, definitely, to getting back to coaching. I'm really excited about that. It seems to feels like forever with this lockdown, but yeah. Well, my answer to your question is it depends. Do I recommend therapy? If you need therapy, yeah, I definitely recommend therapy. Therapy can be life changing, but it depends on you. It depends on, you know, where you are in your life. For some people, therapy might not work, but I think therapy, if it's with someone that you can trust and get along with, and they're good at their job, it can help. Yeah, and it's quite nice because lately quite a lot of people have told me that they've been looking at my older content and it's really inspired them. So today I thought I would kind of bring a little bit of the history back, do a talk on women dating and approach anxiety, because I'm starting to realize that a lot of the teachings that I did years ago, they're still relevant today. People need help in that area department. So it's good that people can still get some value from those videos, because like you guys probably know, you put a lot of effort in to what you do. I put a hell of a lot of effort into making those videos and getting the teaching out to people. But yeah, it's and you know what, I've spoke to a lot of women and friends and girls I've dated, and they will say, some women would be like, well, why don't guys approach me, why are they so scared of me? And I'm like, you don't understand what it's like. And I have to sort of sit down and try and explain to them why men in general are so scared of talking to women. Um, but yeah, it's all about moving forward, and not living in the past. That's one of the things that I had to learn. I'm still learning that I had to let go of the past in order to improve my relationships with women. Because if you live in the past right? You're 30 now, you're 40, 45, you're 50, however old you are. If you're still living in the past, then you're wasting your life. You're holding yourself back because you go and speak to a girl today, she's got nothing to do with what happened to you 15 years ago or 20 years ago. That's in the past, that's done. But I can understand psychologically, which is why therapy is needed. Everyone needs therapy at some point. I mean, this is therapy now, what we're doing, talking out loud and getting a solution. Wow, we've got 31 people on that. That's a good number. That's more than all the other live streams. Good to see you. It's good to see you, Jeremy, mate, as always. Good to see you, Chris. Chris is a big fan of Cobra Kai, like me. By the way, if you're enjoying this live stream, hit like. It doesn't cost any money. It's 1 second you can hit that button and subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos on this subject. Did you watch the hero's journey film yet, Johnny? No, I didn't see that one. Is that the name of the film? I've watched a hell of a lot of films over this past few days and stuff. So yeah, my brain has just been quite stimulated. Yeah, I can't wait for Cobra Kai 4 as well. I watched all of the seasons. Uh, um, I'm not a massive MMA fan, but I will watch the big fight. I will probably watch McGregor versus is it Dustin Poirier or whatever? I know a bit about that. My brother's a fan. Am I going to change my hairstyle? Who knows? You never know. I might do. I could do. Things are always changing. Johnny, I like your older videos when you had the black leather jacket and you approached women. You had the best energy ever. Cheers. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have that jacket anymore. I'll probably cut my hair and I'll shave my beard because the hairdressers are not open at the moment, which is annoying. Yeah, for those of you that are like Cobra Kai, it's a great little series. It's funny, because every time I watch Cobra Kai, even though it's a fictional thing, there's so many things that are relevant to all of us, with the bullying at school, with the girls, with the teacher overcoming. It's a great story for inspiration. Well done to you, man. If you sorted your life out, Mr. AG Sound Bites. Sounds like you're into your music. Yeah, I think that's true, Christopher. I think he did pass away. Yeah, yeah. Sad. Okay, so the solution. So how do you overcome approach anxiety and anxiety and trauma, all these things? Well, you've got to build new positive experiences, and I call it reference points. You've got to build a new point of reference, uh, and you got to do that by confronting your fear and having the mental discipline as you're, setting out to overcome your fear of talking to women. You've got to have the mental discipline to not let your mind take you into the negative places and the way that you thought about yourself at school. And if you start getting more positive experiences, that's what creates the healing. I'll give you another example. It's in everyday life. There's many things that you want to do, but you don't do it because you tell yourself that you can't do it, but you don't do it to disprove it. So many years ago, I would have told myself, "Oh, I can't do a live stream. I can't do it. I'm not confident enough. I don't know how to speak to people." That's what I believed when I was 14, 15. But now that belief has been shattered, and now I can do live streams easily. I love doing them. I had to build that though. I had to face that fear of doing the live streams and getting uncomfortable until it became normal, natural, and it became something that I love doing. And that's the same process in how any guy will overcome his fears with speaking to women. He will have to practice, and learn the new behavior, and obviously be yourself, not change yourself and try and be someone on the internet or someone on television or someone on a Netflix. You can't do all that. You have to find yourself in all of this, because if you're not yourself, then you're not going to have a proper relationship with a woman. She's never going to get to know you. You're not going to be happy doing that. You're going to be acting. You can't act forever. You can't keep the act up. So it is a scary process, but it's worth it in the end of, basically finding yourself, so that you can, let's read this. It's very easy to get stuck into the routine of not taking action, and pushing yourself. How to change this? You need to find motivation. You're not going to take any action without motivation. So you have to have a reason. You have to figure what that is for you, Louis. You have to figure out what is your reason. What is my motivation? Same way Tyson Fury had to find the motivation to not want to kill himself when he was depressed. And he was, well overweight after becoming heavyweight champion when he beat Klitschko. He had to find the motivation again to get in the gym, to quit drugs and womanizing and whatever he was doing and lose the weight. And he did it, and he succeeded because his motivation was to first get fit again, to just find the love. He said it. I just want to find the love for boxing again. Boxing was everything to me. And then I got depressed and I didn't want to live and I didn't care about money anymore. I was so down. So you have to find your own reasons, whatever they are. Everyone's got their own reasons as to what motivates them and why. And I had my motivations, my own reasons, which motivated me to take a lot of action. So that could take an hour, Louis. That could take a day, a week, but don't give up. Sometimes you got to go for a walk around the park, meditate until you can figure out what it is that will motivate you. And a lot of it's suffering. A lot of it is, for me, going through so much pain and suffering in my teenage years because of not being able to get a girlfriend, and feeling unattractive, and feeling down about that motivated me to think, you know what, F this. I don't care anymore. I mean, I care about people. I'm respectful, but I don't care about getting hurt anymore or laughed at or rejected. I'm going to go out and face everything that frightens me because I want to overcome this. I don't want to live my life like this. I don't want to. There's other guys out there that are happy. They've got a girlfriend. A lot of people are telling me that I can get a girlfriend, that I'm a nice person, I've got a good personality. Why am I suffering? What's going on? This is not normal. Every guy should be able to find a girlfriend and be in love and stuff like that and get confidence. So pain motivated me. This pain was so painful. I had to say that's enough. Whatever it takes, get help, get therapy, get some confidence from another guy, get some help, learn, understand, go out, fail, succeed. And that's what got me started. And once you start enjoying something, it just gets better and better, because there's no better feeling than doing something that makes you happy, and something that can also, it benefits other people. And of course, when you get yourself more confident, it doesn't just benefit you. It's not a selfish thing. It benefits a woman that you're going to date, and you're going to make her happy. She's going to want to date a guy like all of you, and a guy like me. So it's understanding these things. Yeah, I'd love to do that, stream at multiple platforms at once. I'm going to figure it out. How do you know when you're ready to face a fear? That's a great question. I think you never do. I don't think there's any perfect time, because I know in my life experience and learning from other people, there's never a right time because fear will always say it's not the right time now. That's what fear does. I have it myself in my life with other stuff. You know, if I listen to my fear, it will say it's not the right time to do the live stream. Your hair's not right. The lighting's not right. It's Monday. It's cold. It's lockdown. That's what fear will do. Fear will always try and convince you that it's not the right time, but only the right time is that it is decided by you. So there's no better time than now. If you're able to do it and you're healthy and you have the opportunity to face your fear, then you should go for it. It's always worth it. You never lose anything. Yeah. We're all guilty of it. Everyone does it. The teachers do it. I do it. None of us are perfect every single in everything. None of us are. We all put things off. We all say, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll apply for a job tomorrow, or yeah, I'll fix the leak in my house. I'll do that next week. That's part of the human condition. So when you start understanding fear more and motivation, success, and you can listen to someone like David Goggins, who's got a very no nonsense approach to motivation, fear, success, and he will tell you. You'll hear David Goggins say, "Now's the mother effing time." Now's the time when you don't feel like it, when you're tired, when you're depressed, when you feel shit. Now's the time to get out and start running and motivating yourself. So no one really comes along and says, "Here's the perfect time for you to be a father or meet a girl or do this." In most cases, it's not like that. There's no real guide that way. Tyson Fury is very inspirational. There was a short clip from BT of him getting back up after getting knocked down by Wilder. It was very moving, as was a flashback of his life. That was incredible, that moment, man. I'll be honest, man. I cried when he went on the floor. I cried because I was sad to see him knocked down. But when he got up, I cried with joy, man, inspiration. He motivated me. He helped me with my challenges. When I saw him get back off the floor, I said, That's a Rocky story, man. Even if he lost the fight, which he didn't lose the fight, right? Everyone really knows that he won that fight. But to get off the floor in those circumstances, it's unbelievable because most boxers would have just been mentally broken and physically out. They would have been gone. And he got up. I've become a master procrastinator. Well, it's at least you can admit that. But that doesn't have to define you. That doesn't have to be who you actually are as a person. That's just the current situation that you're in. You can break out of it. Yeah, I'm going to do another video on Tyson Fury Joshua. What's you guys' predictions? I'm sure you know my predictions. I think Fury definitely beats AJ. Yeah, of course you can post questions on another topic related to anxiety. You're welcome. You're welcome to post pretty much anything you want, as long as there's no like nastiness or anything like that. Because I wouldn't tolerate that. But we never really get in the group, which is great. Most of the people are positive, so you can post what you like, man. Be yourself. Interesting. Fury to KO AJ in 6 rounds. I can't argue with that. I said 10 rounds he's going to get him out of there, but I could see that happen in 6 rounds. Anything's possible with Fury. Yeah, I think Tyson beat AJ, and I'm not knocking AJ. I'm not saying it like Anthony Joshua's nobody. No, he's great. He's a great fighter. I just think Fury's greater. Joshua beats most of the fighters and can't knock what he's achieved. He's been a worthy champion. He's achieved so much, but I just don't see him beating the Gypsy King from what I've seen them both do in their career and how they've acted in difficult moments in fights. I don't. Fury's on a different level, in my opinion. You're welcome, master plan. Yeah, I had that as well. I struggle with that. What you've got, and I overcome it over the years. You just got to practice. it's a lot of it's psychological when you worry that you've got a stammer or a speech impediment or you stutter, right? I know some people have got it, but a lot of it is psychological where you think that you sound a certain way and there's just practice gets you over that. If you want to get better at speaking, right? I'm telling you, right? Obviously, everyone live streams, speaking in front of the camera. Obviously, at the moment of the lockdown, we can't really meet, but if it was in normal time, social groups, meeting up with people, practicing a cold approach, approaching women if you can, all these things will help you to improve your skills speaking on the phone. Fred Blog says, vaccination for everyone, love, meaning that's the way forward in his opinion. Um, I kind of agree on that. We spoke about that today. I know some of you probably won't because of what's being out there, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I probably agree on that, man. If it's just a case of having an injection, which is gonna, basically take us all out of this terrible time, then I'll be up for it. There's a talk of Golovkin versus Eubank Jr. That would be a great fight, actually. Um, I would have said no chance 2 years ago, but I actually honestly think Eubank's got a chance. I mean, I favour Golovkin, but um, my dad's been telling me, my dad's one of the best people I know when it comes to boxing. I'm not being biased, right? Because he's my dad. I'm just telling the truth. My dad really rates Eubank Jr. He thinks he's a really good fighter and just has had a few kind of unlucky matchups and he hasn't really been managed right. But now that he's got a trainer in Roy Jones, which is great, and I think he can give Golovkin a good fight. I wouldn't be surprised if he won that. Thoughts on how a fighter can improve mental toughness, confidence after consecutive defeats? Well, that's tough for me to say because number one is I'm not a professional fighter. I've did a lot of fighting in my life, but I think it's like anything. I think they've got to have the desire to want to overcome something, and it's about motivation. If you don't have a motivation and a goal, then you're probably not going to overcome defeats. So they need to be motivated. They need to have a new goal. They need to be willing to face their demons and changes and stuff. So goals and motivation. What have I been doing to keep myself busy? Nothing fancy, man. Basic stuff. Getting up as early as I can, cleaning the house every day, washing, going for long walks, making YouTube videos, doing live streams, speaking to family on the phone. When we was in the certain lockdown phase, I went out in person. I went and see my family, friends when the rules were when they were better. You're welcome, Swisher blowing. I said your name right. So yeah, just really basic stuff, really. Um, I did in the first lockdown was better because that's when I was going out more and I was doing a bit of approaching then and I was dating someone. Things were the rules were a lot less strict. But since this third lockdown, it's I've not enjoyed it. It's not been nice. But I've got to say on a positive note, there has been a lot of positives. You guys have been great. I've got a lot of positive friends and family are positive. So I'm very blessed that I've got that bit of support because some people might not have anyone. Eubank's been training himself. Maybe a reason it's taken him so long to achieve his goal. I agree. I think a lot of people who know Eubank or understand him that he's been his own worst enemy. He was a bit stubborn. Maybe his ego didn't like being told what to do at a certain point because I don't know. Maybe being born into money, his dad was very wealthy, but the talent's definitely there. He's definitely tough. He's definitely a good fighter. Um, Although Billy Joe Saunders beat him, if I'm being really honest, it was a close fight. I mean, he kind of threw the fight away because he started too late. So yeah, he just hasn't, like you said, he's been training himself. I mean, you can't train yourself. I mean, Mike Tyson didn't train himself. Sugar Ray Leonard, Kawasaki, Hatton, Tyson Fury. You can't do it on your own. He's not. a fighter is meant to be a fighter, so he's probably sabotaged himself at a certain point. Maybe he's got his own fears and insecurities, but I would like to see him do well. I kind of like something about him. I do like his, I do like his toughness, his heart. He is a tough fighter. But yeah, I gotta say, I was impressed when he beat James DeGale, and people can make excuses and say, well, James DeGale was shot. He wasn't the same. I don't agree on that. He was still good enough, and he was still the favourite. And Eubank beat him up. That really beat him convincingly, and so he's definitely a talented fighter. He just, like you said, he needs the right people around him. And unfortunately, as much as I like his dad is in this situation. I don't think his dad is the right coach for him or manager. It seems like they are so close, but it's not the right relationship. Sometimes in boxing, the dad doesn't make a good coach. But then in other situations, you've got Joe Calzaghe, where his dad was the best teacher ever. Father-son relationship. You've got many more. You've got Sean Porter. Dad trains him. There's many more names. I can't remember all of them. So it either works or it doesn't. And I don't think Chris Eubanks Senior is the right person to train his son. maybe it's too emotional. So he needs a proper trainer. Yeah, I'd like to see Eubanks versus Billy Joe Saunders again. Eubanks Smith would be a good fight. What makes Mexican boxing special? Man, that's a great question. The Mexicans are just those guys are fucking so tough, man. It's like they're just something in their blood. Amazing fighters, man. I mean, when you look at Canelo at the moment, who undoubtedly is the best fighter in boxing pound for pound, he's just beating everyone. It's unbelievable, man. De La Hoya, Barrera, Morales, Marquez. You've got Ryan Garcia, Oscar De La Hoya. Obviously, before my time, Chavez Jr. So many other fighters. I've probably not named some others. Amazing Mexicans. Do you know what? I'm going to try and figure this out, Bright Romeo, because I've always wanted to stream on every platform at once. That would be a dream of mine if I can stream on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and I'm sure there's a way to do it. I just got to figure it out. And that's another good point as well. What you said, yeah, most of these Mexican fighters, they come from nothing. They come from absolute poverty. Manny Pacquiao, obviously, he's not Mexican; he's Filipino, but his story is amazing. He was literally homeless. He was absolutely broke. You know what I mean? He had to steal cigarettes and bread and donuts for his family. He was so broke, and look where he's come. Yeah, you're right. I should definitely be able to figure it out somehow, because it would be a good idea to stream on all the platforms. Mexicans are so tough because they know the real meaning of hunger. Yeah, but there have been a few boxers. There are a few boxers in history. It's not as common who they didn't grow up poor and they end up doing well. Johnny, if I went out every day and being honest instead of trying to say the right things, not being myself, do you think I would overcome the fear after a year? I can't see why not. I mean, nothing's 100% in life, but I would say 90% sure. Unless you have some things that are, and I mean this respectfully, right? Because I have mental health challenges, but unless you had a really some mental health challenges, but you needed professional help, if you went out for a year and you practiced being honest approaching women, you would be so much more confident. I was going to say that, Shane. I was a bit worried about getting the name wrong. Salvador Sanchez, probably one of the best. I saw some of his fights. I was watching it with my dad. He's unbelievable, man. I don't think he lost, did he? And I think didn't he die in a car crash or something? It was sad. He died young, but he looked unbeatable. What other Mexican fighters are there? It's crazy how we always end up talking about boxing. It's I was watching a great documentary the other day, Shane. You'll probably like it, or you've probably seen it. It was an interview of Manny Stewart and Thomas Hearns. It was brilliant, and Manny Stewart and Hearns were talking about their relationship, and how and the fights they had, and it was just great, man. They talked all about the great fights, and they were saying, I really believe this, that Thomas Hearns was just as good as Leonard. He was on the same level, and they sparred together when I think Tommy Hearns was less known than Leonard, but on similar level. And apparently, in sparring, he outboxed Leonard convincingly, right? And then that's when they got the fight on, and he was explaining that they were really on the same level. But what it was is Leonard was just marketed better. The public. Obviously, Leonard's one of my favorite fighters. Like he's in my top five. But they were saying that Tommy Hearns, he never really got the credit that Sugar Ray Leonard did. He kind of lived in his shadow as kind of like the nearly man. But the reality was they were on the same level. I mean, their fights were close. The second fight, which was a draw, apparently Hearns won that fight, bad decision. And they were so closely matched. But people really do sort of remember Leonard more. Yeah, nothing against him. I've never met him. I'm not massively keen on De La Hoya as a person, his personality. Something I don't know what the reason is, and I've never met him just from what I've seen, right? But as a fighter, he was brilliant. Yeah, you have to say De La Hoya's got to be he has to be one of the greats. I mean, I think he won like 5 different weights. Awesome, mate. Nice one, Louis. Yeah, we're going to come to an end with this. I think there's the time. The reason why it's generally harder to approach a woman when you're out on your own, because when you're on your own, you're with your internal dialogue, and the real reality is all of our internal dialogues most of the time are on autopilot and they're very negative. So it's difficult when you go out on your own because not only are you trying to do something that's challenging to a certain degree, you're trying to your mind's getting in the way, and your mind will start thinking about all kinds of problems. Where when you're with someone, when you're with a friend or with a coach or someone you connect with, when you're with someone, it distracts you from thinking about those negative thoughts, which are going to, tell you that you might not be good enough, or you shouldn't approach, or it's not going to work out, or make you think about your life and stuff and stress. So that is more. It's smart. It comes on strong when you're on your own, and that's why obviously people get depressed if they're in isolation too long, because it's the internal dialogue that makes people sick. Where when you're with people and you're talking to people, that's getting interrupted, and it sometimes resets. So if you're with a friend going out and you're having a positive conversation, your mind goes positive. Well, that's a great question. I'll have to make some videos on this. But one of the ways in which you can stop the internal chatter is you've got to get into state. You've got to get yourself into a happy, playful, non-caring mental state. You've got to go, almost like a boxer. When they go in that ring, they've got to change their state. They can't go in that ring with the normal way of thinking. They wouldn't be able to do it. So it's very similar to going into a fight. Obviously, approaching a woman is not fighting, but the fear, the unconscious fear is the same. So you've got to program your mind, and you've got to almost get inside and click and switch off the negative thoughts and the fears and the anxieties and the paranoias, and you've got to, you know, recharge it. And everyone's got to kind of find their own way of doing that. And one of the ways that I do, sometimes you've got to warm up. You know, you've got to go out and say hello to a couple of people, give compliments, or sometimes having a phone call with a friend for half an hour or however long, a positive conversation. And then when you come off the phone, you know, you're in a good place, you're feeling good. So really the solution is, how can I get myself to feel good before I go and speak to women? Where a lot of us guys get stuck is we're trying to speak to women whilst being in a state of not feeling good, feeling depressed or scared or stressed out. And that's going to obviously make it very hard when you're on your own. And you've also got to learn to enjoy your own company, which is another challenge. And all of it is mindset training. And David Goggins can explain even further than I can, because he's using a lot of the same techniques when he's going and doing these runs and his training that he does, which for most people they can't imagine doing something like that. But he's saying, which I say, everyone can do it once they can learn to, you know, program their mind. So you've got to practice with it. You know, it's not easy though. It's not easy. Um, but some days it will be easier depending on how you feel. Yeah, I mean that's been said, Shane, for a long time. That's been spoken about, and I believe in that to a certain extent. There's some truth in that. That quite a lot of women end up dating boyfriends that resemble their fathers. There's a whole psychology on that. I think it's Freudian. So there is some truth in that. I don't think that's the truth for every single woman, but it has been proven in a lot of psychology that a lot of women are looking for a father figure in guys. And it's also been said that, you know, some us guys are looking for our mother in a woman. And some people think that's true, some think it's not. It's not easy, but it's the only way. Yeah. I think if you want something bad enough, you'll do it, you know. What's up, Tim? At the grocery store, is it okay to bring up what someone is looking at to purchase or just say hi? You can do both, Tim. I see where you're coming from. You can do one or the other or both. I'll give an example. So, from what you said, so if a girl was picking up fruit, you can say, "Oh, I like fruit. You know, I've started eating more fruit. It's more healthier for you." You see, you've used the conversation starter straight away based on something she's picked up. You've created a conversation, and then you can say, "By the way, like, hi, what's your name? You look nice. Nice to meet you. My name's Tim." See, you can make it natural like that, you know, and that can work really well. Or you can do what you said, Tim. You can just say hi. You can just straight away come in, and that's a decision you've got to make at the right time because it depends on situation. But yeah, it is good to do things like that. That can be, I'd say that approach can work quite well in shops and stuff because what you're really doing is when you first say hello to a woman, you're really seeing how she responds. Is she interested? Is she relaxed and stuff? Good night, mate. Awesome, man. That's a difficult one to answer, Leon. I haven't really got the answer for that one right now. Um, Probably, you may want to venture out to another country if that's the case. Try somewhere else, or really try and get an understanding of the culture and adjust to it being more conservative. But it doesn't mean you can't speak to women because they're conservative. I've spoken to quite loads of women that are conservative, and it's just learning to, you know, be able to adapt to your social skills. In my book, Oh, sorry. What do you mean? How important is physical attractions in terms of approach? So, do you mean how important is it for you to be physically attracted to a woman before you approach her, or do you mean how important is it for a woman to find you physically attractive? Let me know what you meant because I'm not quite sure um, which side. I would say it depends. You know, you can't generalize all women because not every woman focuses on the physical looks. Where when you've got confidence and social skills, that can win a woman over. Many times I've seen that. You know, I've seen many good-looking guys um, fail at speaking to women because they went in thinking, "Oh, because I'm good-looking, she's just going to like me straight away." But when he starts speaking, the girl changes her mind because he doesn't come across right. And I've seen guys go up who are maybe society doesn't say that they're great looking, but once they start speaking and their personality, um, they start showing their personality, the girl starts getting attracted and interested in the guy because she just finds him charming, or he's confident, or he's intelligent, or he knows he can speak to her. So I've always been the man. I've always been about confidence. You don't rarely hear me say in my videos about looks because they're not that important. But some people disagree with me. That's fine. But in my experience, it's not that important if you've got the confidence. Right, guys. You know what, man? I'm gonna call it a night. It's been amazing. It's time's flown now, almost an hour and a half, and I'm gonna probably nip downstairs. So I can get a soft drink. We'll do more of these talks. We'll continue. But yeah, I appreciate everyone coming on. We had a real good talk today about relationships, women, psychology, and boxing. I'm gonna make more videos on this subject because it seems to be a popular one. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys real soon. Yeah, and hopefully this lockdown is going to come to an end soon, and we can get back to normal where we can go out, meet with our friends, start dating again, all find a great woman. But for those of you that are with someone, then count your blessings. That's good, great for you. But for any of you single guys, just be patient because there's a lot of good women out there, and this has got to come to an end soon. And women are going to be excited about dating again, especially if they're single, right? I can imagine. So we're really just playing the patient game at the moment, just being patient and just trying to do something positive every day to get through this. All right, guys, nice one, man. I appreciate all the support. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe, share, and if you got any questions, then I let me know on the videos and I'll see if I can answer it. Cheers, Fred Blogs as well. By the way, thanks for the conversation today. I really enjoyed it. It really helped. Um, Sorry, Tim, I didn't understand your question, mate, because it's a bit of terminology I didn't know. Do you have a? I'll get to that next time, Tim. I didn't understand that. All right, guys, man, awesome. Become fearless.